Hi everyone. I understand the second video, it got all crazy after about 12 of the 18 minutes. So I'm just going to make a short video here and talk about what happened next. And then you can see my finished worksheet. I think you probably have all this content right here. So I'm going to slide, if you don't, stop the video here. I'm going to slide this up so it's easier to read the content at the bottom. So I believe I was talking about reflected light at the time, and what happens is light bounces around. Like you can see if you put your hand over the white piece of paper, you can see it shining under your hand because the light bounces off the white and lights up the bottom of your hand. That's why underneath your table it's not jet black, why it's actually kind of gray because light is bouncing in under there. So basically, there's areas where the light bounces back. The one comment on this, it's never really super dark. It can't get under here because it's really blocked away from the light. This is your darkest area, both on the area of the shadow and in the area on the object. So it's going to be up above that, and it should never be lighter than this because this is directly lit up, where reflected light is only partially lit up. So it's going to be louder than that. This dark stripe right here is called the core. Once you've added your reflected light, you're left with your core. It's really fun when we start shading and you start observing it in objects you're looking at. You'll find this core area. And so anyway, that's kind of how we're finishing up there. The very last thing on the worksheet is the highlight. And what I was explaining is that highlights are different than you might expect. We might expect that the light's over here, then it's going to be like super bright and shiny right over here on the edge. But that's not where the highlight is. The highlight is in from the edge. It actually has to do with where you are. Two people can be looking at the same object and you'll see different highlights because it's where the light skims across and bounces up to you. So they're going to have a different angle where they're looking at the same thing, and so the highlight's going to be in a different location. Like I said in the video, if you hold your pencil up like this and you see the highlight, I'm sure in the video it's going to stay there, but myself, Mrs. Rouse, I'm moving back and forth. If you hold your pencil up like that, you can see it. As I move back and forth, the pencil's in the same place, but the highlight's moving. So the highlight depends on where you are and where the light source is. And there's formulas for finding it, but usually you can observe it, or if you're making up the situation, just remember it's never right on the edge, it's in a little bit from the edge, and then just be consistent throughout your drawing. The other thing you need to know about highlights is that the edge or the shape of the highlight depends on the surface texture. So since we're drawing something that's kind of like a soft rubber ball, it's going to have a soft edged highlight. If this was glass or metal, you'd have these really crispy edge, very angular edges, like on a car's very, very angular highlights. So that would happen because that surface is very slick and shiny. Usually there's one main highlight and then maybe some minor highlights, and it just depends the edge of it, the shape of it on the lighting situation and the surface texture of the object. So if you can't read this, it says a bright spot on an object relating to the location of the light source and the viewer. I'm going to slide this up. So you need to erase in your highlights kind of on the edge here, and they're going to have a soft edge. So I just smudged them, played around with them a little bit. And then I made sure I had the same highlights on my other one. So freeze this if you need to, but I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and I hope this is helpful.